What's up, fam? This is Will Novak, the NOLA LSAT tutor, and I'm here today to talk about the pros and cons of a class. What do I mean by an LSAT class? I mean a class in a room taught by an instructor, typically from a large company like Kaplan, Princeton Review, Varsity Tutors, all those guys. Okay, now let's get this out of the way. I am a tutor. Obviously, I believe in tutoring. If I didn't, it would be weird. That would mean I'm selling a product that I don't believe in. So that would be odd if I was going to come out and say, like, classes are better than tutoring. Obviously, I'm not going to say that. But I used to teach for one of these large companies. I know a lot about what these classes are, and I can definitely provide some advice as to whether this is a good or a bad thing. So let's start with the pros. Pro number one, if you are not quite motivated to do work on your own, then maybe you need the class to motivate you to show up 3 times a week. I will say if you are in that mindset, you might not be ready for law school. I don't know that the class is really the answer there because law school is going to require a lot of self-motivation. Second thing about classes. Classes are way better than a book. If you are deciding between self-study with like a power score book or something or a class and like you can handle paying for the class, a class is going to be way better. I would definitely not recommend that anyone use a book to study. I think that's a terrible way to study for the LSAT. At best, you actually don't need the book and you're wasting your time, and that's at best. At worst, what's going to happen is the book is not going to teach you. So, yeah, I would say a class is way better than a book. Third, if you are an average student who's just looking to make some gains, classes are really good. These classes are designed to take you from like a 142 or 143 to a 155. If that's you, if that's what you're looking for, classes are great. Now, a lot of people aren't looking for that. If you are in the 130s, a class is going to move too fast, you're going to get left behind, and there's going to be a problem there, straight up. That's what's going to happen. If you're walking in the high 150s or in the 160s, the class is going to waste a lot of your time, and it's going to be tough to improve. I'm just going to tell you straight up, it doesn't matter how good the instructor is. At the LSAT itself, it's very hard to teach people to get better at the LSAT if they're already like above 165. I'm not saying it can't be done, I'm saying most people can't do it, and you're probably not going to get it out of an instructor. Finally, the final pro of classes is that they make the test seem easier than it is. Now, that is not what I do. I don't hide the test from people. I basically show you the test, I drop you in the deep end, and I help you learn how to swim out of there. But that scares people. I have clients who leave because they become intimidated and scared by the LSAT, and there's just no getting around that. Now, the class hides that, and that's going to prevent you from doing as well as you possibly can. But for students that are like easily terrified and scared, then in that case, the class might be the better option. Okay, so those are the advantages of a classroom experience. Let's discuss the disadvantages. First off, instructor quality totally varies. When I worked for one of these companies, we essentially had instructors that had been there for years and instructors that had been there for weeks. And honestly, to be a good LSAT instructor, you need a lot of experience. You need a lot of experience. And even the instructors there who had a lot of experience weren't that good. Like at one point, I had a meeting with the person who was supposedly the best LSAT tutor in Louisiana for this company, and I asked them for advice on teaching assumption questions because I didn't know how to teach assumption questions. They couldn't help me. They straight up couldn't help me. I had to go into private tutoring on my own and spend years doing this to figure out how to teach assumption questions well. So that's kind of an issue. Instructor quality is a little dubious. Now, you can sort of get around that by like demanding an experienced instructor, but even then, who knows? All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing is these companies don't necessarily have great material. The material has to be something that an inexperienced instructor can teach easily, which means it's not necessarily the best material. For example, when I worked for one of these companies, they didn't teach the newest game types because they weren't up to speed on that, and they're really hard to teach, and it's not fun. So they just didn't bother with that. That's kind of an issue. Finally, a final problem with classes, they're very time inefficient. Even if I have a slow student who is a really slow learner, they're probably spending at most 50 hours with me. That's at most 50 hours. Remember, most people are spending way less than that. The course I taught for Princeton Review, 84 hours long. Do you think students need 84 hours? No, they don't. That is to justify a price tag. That's what that is there for. So, yeah, and the homework, by the way, is way more than the work you need. So, in terms of efficiently spending your time, not so much. So, yeah, those are the downsides to a class. All right, so that's this video. I hope it's been helpful. If you're interested in my thoughts on something, how I can help you some way with the LSAT, law school admissions, any of that stuff, please reach out to me. Email me at nolalsattutor.com. Yeah, there you go. I hope to hear from you. Have a nice night.